what if Magical Hats just won the game? You might think you know what Magical Hats does, but it's secretly way more broken than that. So hit that subscribe button, thanks to Ramsey2761 for the suggestion, and let's check out Game 1. We are on the play in this game, so let's start by summoning Sangan and activate Ties of the Brethren. By paying 2,000 life points, we can summon 2 other level 3 fiends from our deck. We'll choose Lilith and a Labrynth Chandelier. By tributing Sangan, Lilith can search for the namesake card of the deck, Magical Hats. And since we sent Sangan to the graveyard, we can also search up an Ash Blossom to give us a little more interaction. Next, we can activate Lord of the Heavenly Prison. There's way too much text on this card, but it breaks down to 2 effects. We can keep it revealed to prevent all set cards from being destroyed, and if a spell or trap card is activated, we can summon him and then set any spell or trap from our deck. Next, let's use the Chandelier to find a Labrynth trap card before setting Super Poly and passing turn. And our opponent is playing Danger Dark World. This deck focuses on discarding cards and can basically draw their entire deck while setting up a crazy board. But first, Dark World Dealings makes both players draw and discard, so pitch the droplet we just drew, and they use Dark World Rainbow to go for a search. Man, whoever came up with that name really thought they were clever, didn't they?
Customization!
Genius! Let's go ahead and use Ash to try and slow them down. Next, they use Danger Mothman to summon itself while getting additional value off discarding Jackalope. And after playing their field spell, they use Card Destruction. This could be bad. They summon some more monsters, extend with another danger card to summon a Noodle, and go to battle. Feeling confident, are we? Little do they know, I have the all-powerful Magical Hats on my side.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Let's use the hats to summon 2 very specific trap cards, Earthbound Release and Transaction Rollback. When a level 6 or higher monster is summoned, you can use Release to sacrifice a level 10 Earthbound monster and destroy all monsters your opponent controls while dealing damage equal to their combined attack. Now, we are obviously not playing an Earthbound deck, but with Transaction Rollback, you can pay half your life points and get around the cost of tributing an Earthbound monster. There are a number of other ways you can set this combo up, like with this Sissy Runic deck, for example, but that is not my style. We're going to do it the right way, the manly way, the Yugi Boomer way, by using a card that is quite literally as old as the game itself. So with our 2 combo pieces in play, let's activate Super Polymerization. Since our 2 trap cards are technically normal monsters, we can use them to fuse for First of the Dragons. This is a pretty sweet card, but most importantly, it is level 6 or above, which meets the requirements for us to activate Earthbound Release. So pay half of our life points to copy the effect with Transaction Rollback and destroy our opponent's entire board to win the game. Now, as much as I love Lair of Darkness, this version of the deck didn't feel quite consistent enough. While we definitely managed wins with just Lair control, as well as occasionally scoring that sweet Magical Hats combo, I wanted to focus a little more on using the hats to search other toolbox cards while grinding out value. Maybe I could make another Lair silly strat in the future, but in the meantime, let's check out Game 2. On the draw in this game, and we're up against Madolche. Luckily, they just set 1 trap card before passing turn. Our move, so let's start by summoning Tour Guide from the... Bruh. Okay, never mind. At least we can use Ties of the...
How about no?
Since we still technically activated Ties of the Brethren, we can't attack either, so set a couple cards and pass back? What do you got for us, opponent? Madolche Hoot Cake combos up to Glass Souffle, who summons Pudding Cess. Man, the Madolche archetype looks so good. Modern Yu-Gi-Oh gameplay might be hard to follow, but this is one of the places that Yu-Gi-Oh really shines. Their archetype concepts and the stories they tell through their card art are really spot on. Anyway, they go to battle, and since we have the rollback in our hand, we can't do our Magical Hat combo this time, but we can pull off a pretty sweet search. Let's find Earthbound Release for the future and a copy of Super Poly. With those on board, let's activate Big Welcome Labrynth. This summons a Labrynth monster from our deck, but carries the downside of bouncing one of our cards back to our hand. However, since the Super Poly we found is destined for the graveyard right now, we can actually use this downside as a way to effectively search for any spell or trap card in our deck. So summon Ariana and add Super Poly back to hand for the next turn, while also summoning Heavenly Prison and Ariana to search for more answers. That seems like some good value to me. They take out most of our monsters before linking up to the kitties and setting some traps, but we're still alive with an easy path to victory. So activate Super Poly to remove their creatures and head to combat. Let's attack with all 3 of our monsters and summon Lovely Labrynth for the final bit of damage. They activate Impermanence, but we might as well summon Heavenly Prison for an extra attack and to secure the win. Game 3. On the draw once again, and we are up against Barrier Statue Stun. If you don't know, the Barrier Statues are a cycle of creatures that prevent both players from special summoning monsters outside of their attribute. And they play Time-Tearing Morganite too. This will give them an extra card and normal summon every turn for the rest of the game. And there's a second Barrier Statue. This is gonna be tough. My turn, and Impermanence number 2. That could work. Well, let's normal summon and Solemn Judgment. Yeah, you got it. Set and pass back. Barrier statue number 3 comes down, and our turn again. And Imperm number 3. Wait, can we make this work? Let's summon Ariana to search for Big Welcome before swinging over one of the statues. Now we can set both and pass again. But during their draw phase, let's try to negate their statues, and of course they play Dark Bribe, which is a counter trap, so Imperm number 1 gets negated. It's a good thing we have nearly infinite impermanences. Number 2 and 3, go! With their 2 statues negated, we're finally free to activate Big Welcome and get our game plan going. Summon Lady and draw a card. Wow. That was pretty lucky. Summon Queen of the Castle too, I guess. They reveal Inspector Border and use Pot of Duality to find the water statue. With that on board, it locks us into only summoning water monsters. Luckily, there is one water monster we can bring out with Super Poly, so let's use 2 of their monsters to fuse for Mud Dragon of the Swamp. But after all of that, they still have Moon Mirror Shield. This equip spell basically lets them attack over any monster they want. And of course, they destroy our Queen of the Castle. At the end of their turn, the other barrier statue will turn on again, but lucky for us, we have one more trick up our sleeve. By banishing Big Welcome from our graveyard, we can bounce our opponent's statue and swing in for the win. I honestly didn't think we'd be able to clutch that one out. Now, this deck is far from perfect. It isn't even the best way to build Labrynth, and while being restricted to the opponent's battle phase is a pretty significant downside, I still think Magical Hats has some untapped potential. Being able to bury any 2-spell trap cards from your deck in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty insane. But you know we always save the best for last, so let's check out the
bonus game.
Alright, on the play in this one with a pretty average hand, so let's get started by activating Heavenly Prison, and they shotgun Foolos. I mean, I didn't want to make this thing into a Link Karibo anyway. Your move, opponent. They use Into the Void a couple times to draw cards, and Change of Heart to steal my monster before summoning a Tenpai Dragon and going to battle. Well, that's not great. Let's use Big Welcome to mount some defense, but they use Max C to draw some more cards. Lady will bounce itself, but we can also summon Heavenly Prison and find Welcome Labrynth for our next turn. If we even have a next turn. They use Droplet to negate our Knight and do the classic Tenpai strategy of attacking and synchro summoning way too much during the battle phase. However, when they sent King Backjack to the graveyard with Droplet, we got to look at the top 3 cards of our deck and rearrange them. Then we can banish him from grave to reveal the top card. And if it's a trap, we can set and activate it this turn. And you'll never guess what we found. That's right, Magical Hats comes through for us again. But I made a mistake. The opponent synchro summons for another big dragon, and what I did not realize is that this dragon prevents us from activating cards during the battle phase, which is kind of the only thing Magical Hats can do. He switches us to attack and then synchros for Black Rose Dragon before bringing back the... Okay, my script says Bidet Dragon. I assume that's an autocorrect, but I am not gonna bother looking it up. So the Bidet Dragon returns and washes away Super Poly. Okay, that's bad, but at least we still have our hats? Wow. I am really celebrating having Magical Hats over Super Polymerization. That is certainly one of the choices of all time. Oh, but the only way he can get through Heavenly Prison is by trading away his biggest monster. It can actually bring itself back right away, but I'm not letting this opportunity get away from me. Lady is still negated, but we can use Magical Hats to set up a wall and hopefully survive this onslaught. They destroy all of our monsters, and of course, they have Heavy Storm to get rid of our last hope. I guess they did draw 7 cards or something off the bugs. To make matters worse, they link away 2 of their monsters for more interaction. I really would have preferred they keep those monsters on board since their attack adds up to exactly 8,000, which would be enough to steal the win with Earthbound Release. This is not looking good. At least they have to discard that Veiler from using Into the Void. I don't know if there's any card in our deck that can possibly save.
That'll work.
Play Super Poly to get rid of their monsters and summon Chaos Star Source Dragon. Unfortunately, he's just a big beater, but it's certainly better than being dead. Let's attack, and Widow Anchor. Yeah, I figured they had something.
Strange. That usually works.
Your go, opponent. They're playing a Tenpai Sky Striker combo build, which seems pretty neat, and they search up their Hornet drones before using it to link for Kagari in order to recycle Engage and find another Widow Anchor. We might be dead here. Okay, somehow not dead after all that, but we are left with literally no cards. Now you can't see this in the replay, but the whole time they're summoning, I was counting up the total attack they have on board, and if at any point they summon a level 6 or higher monster while they have 8,000 or more total attack power, I can do our Earthbound Release combo to win on the spot. At any rate, it's our turn again, and That might help us survive another turn, set and pass again. They summon and search more dragon stuff before going to battle. I don't really have a choice here, so let's summon Lovely, and since it's above level 6, I can pay half my life points to pull off our secret combo. Now it isn't enough to win right away, but hopefully wiping their board will swing the momentum in our favor. Let's reset Welcome Labrynth and destroy their field spell, and their last card was another Widow Anchor. You have got to be kidding me. I only have one more answer. In response, let's banish Big Welcome to bounce back our own monster so they can't use it against us. Are we dead? What's that last card? Wait, they pass? Holy crap, can we actually steal this game? We draw Droplet and they shotgun Foolos. I don't think that's gonna matter, so let's chain Ariana to deny the card draw and search another Big Welcome. I didn't think I'd make it this far. Swing in, I guess? Set and pass back. You have one more turn, opponent. Either way, this has been an insane game. What do they draw? It's an Ash Blossom. Oh, and they surrender. Wow, GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.